Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Your Voice. I'm your host, Juhi Desai. In today's segment, we'll take you through the highlights of the Peace and Harmony Forum at the Bombay Palace in New York City, a conversation with India home leaders Vasundhara Kalasapudi and Kamla Motihar, and a fashion show at the 29th Annual API Convention. A unique gathering was held at the Bombay Palace in Manhattan recently. The Peace and Harmony Forum honored writer, orator, and social worker H.H. Acharya Dr. Lokesh Muni, as well as presented key speakers such as Congressman Joe Crowley, District Leader Uma Sengupta, former New York Governor David Paterson, and New Jersey Assemblyman Chavulka. Let's take a look.
The issue of nonviolence is a very critical issue. It's not for the country, it's for the world. And let me welcome you first, my friends and the dignitaries and the elected officials. And I really want to thank you first to take your time and join in this program with us. Because we did find day by day this violence is getting so much in our life. Unless we do something, unless we try to control, then I think one day the whole world will be just swept away by the violence.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and let's welcome David Veprin.
I just want to say that peace and harmony has really been a theme in my life and in my public life. And it's so important, and we can't do enough. And I've been very involved in the Indian American community. I'm very proud that, along with our controller, John Liu, that we did the ultimate important act in the city of New York, and that's to suspend alternate side parking on Diwali. And it's really more of a recognition, and the Indian American community has really been such an important part of our city, our culture, and our small business community, our medical community, and has made so many tremendous contributions. And I'm very proud that when I first got elected to the City Council in 2001, my first public event that I held at City Hall was a similar peace and harmony type of event for the South Asian community, and around Dr. Gandhi's birthday. And we did that celebration at City Hall, and we've had a number of Diwali festivals at City Hall, and we kind of brought the Indian American and South Asian community to City Hall, and it's become a tradition since then. So I'm very honored to be here. I want to thank everybody for their past supports and hopefully future support, and I look forward to working with everybody.
So ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together for New York Governor Paterson.
The Nobel laureate writer Rabindranath Tagore, who won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913, who is given credit for giving Mohandas Gandhi the nickname Mahatma, which means he brings the fire. But that shows you the strength of peace, the strength of harmony, the strength of love, because those are the things that Gandhi brought us. Isn't it interesting that with Gandhi in the first half of the 20th century and Martin Luther King in the second half of the 20th century, that there is no acknowledged world leader with the capacity to make people listen right now who is speaking about peace? There isn't one. We've been in Afghanistan for 10 years now. What we should have done after September 11th was to convene a panel of the world leaders in spirituality, not even religion. You ever go to a religious conference, all they do is argue about who's right. When you go to a spiritual conference, the shamans all see the light together, no matter how different they are from each other. But we can't seem to learn that time and time again. Oscar Wilde wrote, "Each man kills the thing he loves." And Shakespeare wrote, "The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, but to itself it only live and die. And if that flower meets with infection, the bravest weed outbraves its dignity. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds, lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds." but we just don't listen. No matter who writes it,
I want to thank Celebrations Raja Sengupta and various board members for inviting me to this conference or public hearing on the peace. Yeah. Peace and harmony. Because when you look at the world peace, and the previous speaker, the master of ceremony, talked about Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King, how they have also Nelson Mandela have really given their lives towards peace and harmony. And one of the important things I learned in life is that the most important capital that we must be investing in is human capital. And if you can provide that dignity and opportunity for each and every human being in the world, we can make this world a very much better place. And because a lot of times a lot of people are left behind. There are so many people are not able to really show their potential, true potential, and because they are not given the opportunity. So we need to think about that in a democratic society. We need to fight towards eradicating poverty, trying to avoid the homelessness, and provide decent living opportunities for various people. And I want to thank Celebrations for organizing this, to have this dialogue among East and West and try to see how we can make this world a better place. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's invite Mr. Crowley.
I'm a believer in nonviolence and of peace and harmony. And one of my favorite songs was playing before, "What's So Fun About Peace, Love, and Understanding," by Elvis Costello. And when you think about it, it's not about fun. It's about how we should really treat each other with understanding, with love, with peace and harmony. And that's what you're about today, so I congratulate you. What we do here in a small way really has a ripple effect. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Dr. Mooney, for your leadership and your wisdom as well. So God bless you all. Thank you.
I'd like to present Dr. Mooney, Acharya Lokesh Mooney.
Some 2500 years ago, Lord Mahavir and Lord Buddha taught mankind that violence biggest violence, war biggest war. Apostle of peace and non-violence, Mahatma Gandhi repeatedly brought to the notice of mankind that it's not people who want war, but belligerent leaders provoke them for war and violence. In the neurological cells of the brains of the evil person like Hitler and Laden, ideas of war and violence take steps. I firmly believe that government agencies and non-government organizations have to spare more resources to study scientifically how and why the brain cells in the left hemisphere of warmonger leaders produce bad ideas of war and violence instead of good ideas of love and peace. It is paradoxical that government allocated in their annual budget large portion of tax and revenue for military preparation and yet expect rich dividend of peace. I beseech these lawmakers sitting next to me and convey my message to their respective government for allocated sufficient resources for neurological research and peace education. During the height of Cold War, the world had some 50,000 nuclear warheads. In the post-Cold War era, the number of nuclear warheads have been reduced to 35,000, but the new generation of weapons are 1,000 times potentially more destructive than those dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. Military leaders and politicians have found new phrases for the describable destruction, but they have not altered their mindset and brain chemicals. Time has come that in 195 members nations of UNO employ fewer military experts and consultants. They should hire more psychiatrists, psychologists, put more resources in brain research laboratories in the university across the world, organizing religious and unscrupulous politicals have lost credibility everywhere. We have to change culture of violence into culture of peace. India and USA alone and separately cannot make this possible. India and USA together and jointly they can do it, and one day we will achieve our dream of the world without war and violence. This is my 8th visit to USA for a message of peace and harmony. I will visit USA many more times in future. It is my mission to bring India and USA together to fight against terrorism and violence. I am an optimist. Let's resolve that we create brighter future for mankind where there will be no war and no violence. I thank you for all from the bottom of my heart and invite you to come to India, the Asian civilizations where message of peace and harmony is delivered to mankind by great sages, prophets, and holy men. Thank you all.
A very distinct forum indeed. It's time for our first break, but don't go far. When we're back, we'll take you to our studios to join a conversation with two distinguished women helping their community. Stay tuned.